Yo, what up day and night gang, it's your boy AM coming to you with an AMPM unboxing video, and what I have here is the Nintendo 64 controller for the Nintendo Switch. Look at this nostalgia, so awesome, so awesome. Stay tuned while I unbox the video, or while I unbox the box for you. Alright, we have the Nintendo 64 controller, and I just really nice out for giving to me this piece of hardware. Super sharp, super awesome. Any box that stands in our way, we cut it in half. Yeah, so I had to get this to complete my retro Nintendo Switch controller collection. I got all of them now, which I'm pretty happy. This is, like I said before, is Nintendo 64 controller. I'm so excited to pick this up because GoldenEye 64 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I can't wait to play with the N64 controller. So we had the front of the box, the top Nintendo. Over here on the side, there's nothing. On the back, we got more information, how to connect it to the device, how to charge it. You know, the box is pretty simple, especially with this Nintendo Switch Online type of stuff. The boxes are pretty minimalist. I mean, they're like not made out of the best quality, and the unboxing experience is pretty trash. But we're not here for that. We're here just to have the controller, which is so awesome and so cool and so nostalgic. Unfortunately, this controller comes at a hefty cost, man. This sucker is pretty expensive. I mean, I'm here to tell you, this thing cost me an arm and a leg, kidney, whatever. But yeah, it is pretty expensive. So I'm gonna pull this right out, put that right there. Look at the box, pull out the top, and what we have here is the cable. The one thing that I will say about these cables here is they're pretty nice. I mean, the quality of these USB-C cables is pretty slick. Unfortunately, it's like a 2.0, so there's not really fast charging on it. It's just like normal charging, but for like a cable that you get directly from Nintendo, this thing is super nice. There's like really cool branding on it. Let me just show you this real quick. See, it says Nintendo right there. Really thick, really nice cable. Unfortunately, it's not high speed, and it charges pretty slow. So if you have one of these things, you'll just know that it takes a while for it to get charged, no high-speed charging, which is, you know, makes sense because this is a controller, and so as long as you keep it plugged in, you're good to go. But what we have here is nostalgia at its best. This is the Nintendo 64 controller. As I pick this up, I'll tell you straight off the back, it is lighter than, I think it's lighter than the original. This sucker is really light, and you don't have a little opening in the back to put your rumble pack in. Not included. I wonder if this has rumble. I'm not too sure. Probably not, because that would cost a lot more money, and you could probably actually feel it in the actual device. This thing is really, really light. But overall impressions right now, it feels like an N64 controller, which is pretty awesome, because if you played any of those games back in the day, you know, N64 controllers are so awesome. Trigger feels good, analog bumpers feel good. Yeah, start button, A and B. Get it going, man. Get that GoldenEye. Like the sound effects? I do too. And this controller is pretty awesome. But I will say it is pretty expensive. I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to give you a review. But before we get to doing that, what I got to do is my mandatory special effects. Let's bring in sparks, flame, smoke, space, shooting star, lightning. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the N64 wireless controller for the Nintendo Switch. Stay tuned for the review.
Ready?
Alright, you saw us unbox this Nintendo 64 controller. Now we're going to do the pros and cons of this device, and as we begin, we're going to start with the cons, the things that I do not like. First things first is this controller has no rumble features, and you saw in the unboxing, the back of the device is actually closed off, so you can't put a rumble pack in there. I thought there was going to be like built-in functionality here. It's not. And so because of that, you don't got no rumble features, and so it kind of feels a little bit lackluster when you're playing Mario Kart or any other games. It doesn't have that rumble feature to it. A second con of this device is that it's really hard to find. If you want to pick this thing up, it's always sold out on the Nintendo store. So if you want to pick it up for your Switch, not available usually. And then the last thing I would say that's a major con for this thing, it's pretty expensive. This thing costs almost the same amount of money as a Joy-Con costs. It comes in about like $50 to $60 with shipping. And so if you're going to pick this up, it's going to be pretty expensive. So that's going to be probably one of the cons that I would say about this particular device. Alright, now that we finished up with the cons for the N64 controller, let's go on to the pros. And the first thing first is that this thing is packed full of nostalgia. That means that if you love retro gaming, you have the compulsion to buy one of these things. It's like almost a must, because this thing brings back so many warm memories of your childhood, and that's pretty much the reason why I bought it. Originally, I was going to buy all the controllers and put it into a shadow box. So that's the first pro, is that the nostalgia factor, retro factor is off the chain. Second thing I would say is this is the best way to play N64 games. You can use other controllers on the Switch that are compatible, but it doesn't compare to this controller. Anytime you play an N64 game, it doesn't feel right. You're playing GoldenEye, does not feel right. Playing Ocarina of Time, does not feel right. Mario Kart, forget about it. So how they designed this is the best way to play in 64 games. And the last thing that I will say about this device that makes it a huge pro is that, Apple updated their software, and now they're able to connect these exclusive Nintendo Online membership controllers to the actual Apple devices. And so if you have an iPad, you have an iPhone, a Mac, you can actually connect these things through Bluetooth, and you can actually use them pretty easily. It's like seamlessly. It's like it recognizes it plays it fairly easy. So it used to be that these things were only exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, but now with this new Apple update, you're able to play games with those controllers, which is pretty awesome. So that is a huge win in my book.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
As we go to the score, I'm going to go of my gut feeling of what I think this is, and I'm going to rate this 6.3. I think it's really expensive, and it's only for hardcore enthusiasts, but now that with its Apple functionality, I think this opens it up to being a lot more useful than just sticking it to a Switch. I will say though that when you actually play the games with the actual devices, the nostalgia factor is like times 10. If you're playing like a game on the Joy-Cons, yeah, you can play the game. It works perfectly fine, but it's not the same as you're holding, having the N64 controller. There's nothing can beats it. And if you have like the other ones, like the little NES controller, nothing beats it. Super Nintendo, same thing. It just feels right at home on the device. And the games actually on the Nintendo Switch are actually pretty good. They're enjoyable to play. With all that being said, I think it has vastly improved. Now, if we can get the functionality of this thing to on more devices, I would say they would be a must-buy, but currently it's just limited to the Nintendo Switch and then the Apple devices. So that's where my score lands. I hope you enjoy it, and as always, I give you a big fat peace.